This is a disturbing animation that parodies MrBeast's videos and hides a very real criticism. We see Jimmy, MrBeast, filming with a hospitalized man who urgently needs a heart transplant. Instead of simply giving it to him, he says he'll only get it if he joins a challenge. The man must search through a huge pile of coolers full of hearts in order to save his own life, while MrBeast and his team turn it into content. This animation is basically a summary of the biggest criticism MrBeast has received, that he profits from other people's misery. Yes, he runs challenges where he gives away hundreds of thousands of dollars, but always by making people in need compete for money while he films their suffering and how much discomfort they can endure. Critics say these big giveaways are not charity. They point, for example, to the video where he gives $10,000 to a homeless man. They argue it isn't charity because MrBeast made much more money from the video than he gave away. He profits from the man's situation, and charity, they say, should be about completely selfless acts. So, in this video, we'll examine whether MrBeast is really doing charity, or if he's just creating content disguised as kindness, something closer to what's called poverty porn. Contrary to what many might think, Jimmy was not born into a wealthy family that funded his videos. He basically started from scratch. His full name is James Stephen Donaldson, and he was born on May 7th, 1998, in Wichita, Kansas. Almost immediately, the family moves around because of his parents' jobs in the U.S. military. Growing up in a military family means discipline and duty are at the center of his life, but not always by his own choice. His mother, Susan Donaldson, becomes known as the first female guard at the only U.S. military prison in Europe at the time. The constant moving takes away stability from his childhood. Because of his parents' long work hours, Jimmy and his two siblings, CJ and his younger sister, spend a lot of time with a babysitter. After several moves, the family finally settles in Greenville, North Carolina. These years are chaotic. His mother, Susan, is distant and rarely at home. Life with his father, Charles Donaldson, is even worse. Although Susan works as a prison guard in the Donaldson home, she becomes the prisoner. Charles tries to control every aspect of family life and becomes physically and emotionally abusive, leaving deep wounds that will take years to heal. As if that weren't enough, tragedy hits the family. Jimmy's little sister is diagnosed with leukemia. The news forces Susan to reconsider her priorities. She now understands that her children's lives and well-being must come first, so she makes a plan to protect them. One day, she tells her kids to pack their things and leaves with them, getting away from Charles. That same year, she gets a divorce, but the conflicts with her ex-husband don't stop, and the family remains in a hostile environment. Things get worse with the 2008 financial crisis, which hits the U.S. middle class and wipes out Susan's savings. These are very hard times, made even worse by Susan's extreme exhaustion, which leads to a breakdown that makes it difficult for her to keep her job. In the middle of all this chaos, Jimmy finds something to distract himself: YouTube. He spends long hours watching different creators, until, almost without realizing it, he becomes a creator himself. One day he records his screen while playing a game called Battle Card. Another player destroys his base using cheats, and something inside Jimmy tells him to upload the clip to YouTube. That first video gets about 20,000 views, and Jimmy says that in that moment he fell in love with YouTube. From then on, he starts uploading videos regularly. At first, YouTube is just a hobby, but everything changes when he sees a video by his favorite creator, Woody Gamertag, announcing he quit his job to dedicate himself full-time to YouTube. At that time, very few people knew you could make money as a creator. For Jimmy, this discovery is a revelation. Realizing he could make a living making videos, he begins to seriously consider that path for his future and starts taking content creation much more seriously. When he creates the channel we now know as MrBeast, his best friend is there, a kid named Chris Tyson, who was also his first subscriber. Early on, His content is exactly what you'd expect from a kid that age. Gameplays. He uploads videos playing Minecraft, Call of Duty, and launches another project with some friends called We Talk Gaming. In those videos, it's clear that, for his friends, the main goal is hanging out and having fun. But for Jimmy, being a YouTuber is already one of his main life goals. Even so, his early videos are pretty bad, according to him. His lack of experience makes it hard to create quality content, and his equipment doesn't help. He has a terrible camera, an old hand-me-down computer that constantly freezes and shuts off, and he has to record in secret because he hasn't told his mom about the channel. He also admits he doesn't know how to use editing software. He is literally starting from zero. At 15, he faces another challenge. He's diagnosed with Crohn's disease, a chronic illness that inflames the digestive tract. Jimmy literally can't eat. He loses a lot of weight, has no energy, and feels sick all day. Despite this, his obsession with growing on YouTube is so strong that he keeps going, ignoring the illness as much as he can. He realizes that if he wants to grow, he needs to make content that is not just better in quality, but deliberately viral. Videos people feel they absolutely must click on. He starts experimenting, and slowly his efforts pay off. He begins making a few dollars from his videos. He also diversifies his content beyond gameplays, where you can clearly feel his desire to grow. One key experiment is a video titled, "How Much Money Does PewDiePie Make?" about one of the biggest YouTubers in the world. That video becomes a big success, one of his first viral hits compared to everything he had uploaded before. Seeing that money topics get attention, he turns it into a series where he talks about YouTube earnings and even reveals how much he makes himself. This brings more views and subscribers and teaches him something. Money is a topic the YouTube audience loves. With this income, he starts investing in better gear. Before this, his setup was a dying computer, low-res cameras, minimal lighting, and tripods improvised from old trophies taped to a base. It all worked, as he jokes, almost by a miracle. In 2015, he uploads a video addressed to his future self, 5 years later, saying that if by then he hasn't reached 1 million subscribers, he has failed at life. This shows how YouTube has become his main priority and biggest goal. As he grows older, Jimmy loses interest in gaming, so he needs a new main type of content. He turns to his best friend Chris for help. Right then, a big personal problem appears. Jimmy is about to graduate from high school. He has decided not to go to college because he believes his future is on YouTube, but his mother strongly disagrees. When Jimmy finally tells her about his channel and his plans, she gets furious and says that if he wants to keep making videos instead of going to university, he'll have to move out. Since he's not yet making enough money, he has no choice but to stay and enroll in college as she demands. When classes start, he feels frustrated, he hates them, and sees them as a waste of time. Unmotivated, he stops attending after just 2 weeks and uses that time to write scripts, record, and edit, all behind his mom's back. He tells himself that if YouTube doesn't work, he'll have to go back to a degree, and uses that fear as fuel. At this point, he starts uploading videos about almost anything, always with the goal of going viral. There's a video of Jimmy reading the entire B-movie script out loud, another where they put a microwave inside another microwave, and one where he cuts a plastic table in half using only plastic knives. These videos have two things in common. They're absurd, and views keep rising. This is not luck, but determination. Jimmy meets other creators online and spends up to 18 hours a day talking with them about YouTube strategy. What works, what fails, how the algorithm seems to behave. This intense focus starts paying off. MrBeast eventually earns enough per month to move out. He suggests to Chris that they live together, and Chris agrees. In an interview, Jimmy's mom says that one day he simply left, and she never had to pay rent, car loans, or bills for him again. He covered everything himself. Around this time, he creates his first truly viral video, counting to 100,000. The premise is simple. Jimmy sits in front of the camera and counts, one by one, up to 100,000. Recording it is almost torture. It takes 40 hours to finish. As he predicted, the video gets millions of views and tons of comments. Some praise his dedication, others mock the stupidity of the idea, but in the end, even those who thought it was dumb clicked out of curiosity. Thanks to this video, his channel grows faster than ever, and 4 months after its release, Jimmy reaches his goal of 1 million subscribers. More motivated than ever, he doubles down on work. His routine becomes wake up, work all day on videos, go to sleep, repeat. Shortly after, a brand reaches out and offers him $5,000 to promote a product. Jimmy doesn't accept the $5,000. Instead, he asks for $10,000. Not out of pure greed, but because he has a plan. He wants to use all the sponsorship money to help someone in need. His idea is to take that money out in cash and give it to a homeless man, turning it into a video that could become the most viral of his career. He explains the idea to the brand's representative, who is shocked, who gives away that much money. But Jimmy insists and eventually convinces them to pay the $10,000. Then he shares the plan with Chris, who helps him film. They start the video in a Walmart parking lot. Jimmy sets up a microphone and gives Chris a camera to film from a distance. Then Jimmy walks up to a homeless man, explains that he's filming a YouTube video, and simply hands him an envelope with $10,000 inside. When the man opens it, he's stunned, then deeply moved, and thanks Jimmy. They interview him about his life and take him out to eat. This small but huge act changes Jimmy's life. He says he had never felt more fulfilled than in that moment, helping that man in such a direct way. And the video, as expected, goes extremely viral. The video quickly recovers the $10,000 he gave away, and even earns more, giving him more purchasing power for future projects. It seems he has found the formula that will guide his channel and his life: charity as content. In theory, charity is understood as an act of generosity with no expectation of anything in return. But if we look deeper, completely selfless charity doesn't really exist. Helping others always gives us something back: emotional satisfaction, social status, or even money. Every action has motives, conscious or not. MrBeast's case shows this clearly. When he gave $10,000 to a homeless man in his first charity video, Jimmy felt enormous satisfaction seeing the man's joy. But he also gained something else. The video went viral and made him more money. Many praised his generosity, but others criticized him for profiting from another person's misfortune and claimed this wasn't truly selfless charity. If we accept that totally disinterested charity is an unattainable ideal because helping always makes us feel good, maybe the important thing is not the motive, but the action itself. Even if someone donates for happiness, recognition, or revenue, the help still reaches the person in need. So the big question is, does the reason really matter? Whether he did it for the joy of helping or for monetizing the video, the result is the same. A homeless person received $10,000 without asking for it. When Jimmy tells his mom about the video, she senses a real change in him. She had never heard him so excited about a project and feels things are about to shift. After this success, Jimmy repeats the formula. He gives thousands of dollars to random people on the street, Uber drivers and pizza delivery workers. He loves watching their surprise and happiness. That feeling of helping others is something he chases from that day on. Even now, when Jimmy remembers those moments, he gets emotional. One story in particular marks him. After the pizza delivery video, one driver comes back the next day to thank him for the money. He says it meant a lot because it allowed him to take the rest of the day off and spend it with his son. On a more personal note, thanks to the income from these videos, Jimmy surprises his mom with a big gift. He gives her a check to pay off her house. At first she refuses to accept it, but Jimmy explains that he's actually doing her a favor, because the surprise will become a new video for the channel. It's a very emotional video, mother and son hug, and she realizes how much her son is achieving. From these videos and the audience's positive reaction, Jimmy sees a golden opportunity. He can turn this formula into a machine with a clear structure, big sums of money, emotional stories, and viral framing. The videos make a lot of money, and he uses revenue from one to fund the next, creating a self-sustaining content machine. With this new pressure, Jimmy sets a bigger goal: to become the biggest YouTuber in the world. To do that, he focuses on making more and better videos. As his ideas grow more ambitious, he needs help and brings in 3 more friends: Chandler Hallow, Garrett Ronalds, and Jake Franklin, while Chris remains essential to the channel. Before continuing, there's something important about Chris. In the future, around 2022, he will begin transitioning and will later identify as Ava. But since we're following the story in order, and at this point he hasn't transitioned yet, we'll keep referring to him as Chris. The group spends most of their time filming or studying other big YouTube channels. They wake up at 7 a.m. to discuss how to master the algorithm. They obsessively study titles, thumbnails, angles, pacing, and cuts per minute. They basically become data analysts, trying to crack the code of success on YouTube. This obsession pays off. Jimmy releases videos like delivering 100 pizzas to random houses, giving people $2,000 from an ice cream truck, taping cash to trees, trying to fly with leaf blowers, building a car out of Legos, or attempting to walk on water with special shoes. All of these videos share 2 key elements: big money and exaggerated, absurd ideas. Thumbnails and titles are carefully crafted to be viral. Fortunately for Jimmy and his friends, the strategy works. Subscribers grow fast, sponsors keep arriving, and collaborations with other big channels multiply. Each video does better than the last. MrBeast reinvests more money, hires more staff, and creates more jobs. Finally, the big day comes. On November 13th, 2018, MrBeast reaches 10 million subscribers. To celebrate, he gives one of his subscribers an insane gift: $1 million, recorded in yet another viral video. At this point, MrBeast has the fame and financial power to give away absurd amounts of money, and his image solidifies as someone who loves helping others with massive donations. The following year, he launches a philanthropy channel that donates 100% of its ad revenue to a food distribution charity serving people in need in North and South Carolina. At the same time, on his main channel, he starts a new line of content: challenges and competitions. These videos share one thing in common: some kind of game or endurance test linked to very expensive prizes. This type of content is different from his early charity videos. Now, participants don't simply receive money, they must do something to earn it. One example is a video where he offers random people $1,000 if they eat a ghost pepper, one of the hottest chilies in the world. It's hundreds of times hotter than Tabasco, and many times hotter than a jalapeno or habanero. In that case, it's no longer charity. He's not just giving money, he's paying them to serve as entertainment, even at the cost of serious discomfort and potentially their health, because ghost peppers can be dangerous. Other challenges include a video where the last person to remove their hand from a boat in the middle of a lake wins it, and another where 100 people stand inside a giant red circle, and the last one to step out wins. These challenges last for days, with sleepless nights and hours of standing or staying in uncomfortable positions, all for a prize that could change their lives or help them escape financial difficulty. Some participants are there for fun, but many are in tough economic situations and are willing to push their bodies and minds to the limit for a chance at the money. One especially controversial video brings together 100 people aged 1 to 100, each placed in a cubicle in a giant warehouse. The last person to leave their cubicle wins $500,000. It's heartbreaking to watch older people trying to compete. Some say that if they win, they'll finally be able to pay their mortgage, get out of debt, or actually retire, because even in old age, they don't have enough savings. Once again, desperation and physical and emotional exhaustion are visible everywhere. Many viewers start to feel uncomfortable, questioning where the line is between help and exploitation. This discomfort is captured perfectly by an animated short from the YouTube channel Meat Canyon. In it, MrBeast films with a man in a hospital who needs a heart transplant to survive. MrBeast offers him two options: the heart he needs or a Tesla. Shockingly, the man chooses the Tesla. In a chilling scene, MrBeast swings a cooler with the heart the patient needs right in front of him, as if saying, "I have what can save you, but first I need to make content." The challenge is to find the car key inside hundreds of coolers full of human hearts before time runs out. Those hearts could save countless lives, but they're reduced to props. In the end, the patient finds the key and wins the Tesla. But in the last scene, MrBeast films a video saying he bought the entire hospital and then blows it up. Meat Canyon's animation is a sharp criticism of how MrBeast turns human desperation and need into entertainment. By exaggerating his challenge format, the cartoon asks at what point this content really helps people, and at what point it crosses into exploitation of vulnerability. If we compare it to his real-life challenges, the parallel is clear. The skill often isn't talent or effort, but the ability to endure suffering. At suffering, what people are willing to endure out of financial need becomes part of a massive spectacle. This is why many label MrBeast's content as poverty porn, a term coined by Colombian filmmakers Luis Ospina and Carlos Mayolo in the 1970s with their film Agarrando Pueblo. The film criticizes how misery is exploited in fake documentaries that turn poverty into a product for comfortable audiences. This genre is defined by the dramatization and aestheticization of suffering without addressing the social or political causes behind that suffering. So the question is MrBeast's content truly poverty porn? We'll answer that at the end. In 2021, Squid Game premieres and becomes a global phenomenon. The series follows 456 people with financial problems invited to compete for a prize of 45.6 billion won, around $38 million. What they don't know is that the games are deadly. Losers are killed, and the last survivor wins. The show criticizes economic inequality and how power structures dehumanize the most vulnerable. It especially highlights how the rich exploit the poor, since the suffering of the participants becomes entertainment for the elites. Something very similar to what many see in MrBeast content. When Jimmy watches Squid Game, instead of focusing on its social critique, what catches his attention is how entertaining the games are. He posts a TikTok saying that if the video gets 10 million likes, he'll recreate the games in real life. He quickly reaches the goal, and production begins. It's an extremely ambitious project, costing around $4 million. Some changes are made to fit MrBeast's style. Eliminated contestants receive at least $2,000 in consolation, $456,000 are selected, and the winner gets $456,000. The tone is different too. There is no critique of capitalism, just entertainment. In November 2021, he uploads his Squid Game video. It becomes an instant hit. Many praise the production quality and attention to detail. But critics argue that he completely misses the original's anti-capitalist message and instead turns its nightmare into reality. Viewers are literally watching people compete out of financial need for a life-changing prize. If they already had stable jobs, successful businesses, or enough savings, they wouldn't spend days on set fighting for that money. For MrBeast, 2021 is both one of his best years and one of his worst, because his public image comes under serious pressure. The New York Times publishes an article about Jimmy Donaldson that not only reviews his career and ambitions, but also includes interviews with former employees. They describe a very different Jimmy from the one we see on camera. According to them, when the cameras are off, he can be a harsh and even verbally abusive boss, with scolding so intense that some employees leave in tears. This contrasts completely with his cheerful, generous on-screen persona. The controversy hits his image hard, but the MrBeast brand is already so big that it quickly recovers. The accusations are buried under a flood of new content. By then, besides his main and philanthropy channels, Jimmy has several more channels focused on gaming, reactions, and other formats. Diversifying his content opens many new revenue streams, and Forbes names him the highest paid YouTuber in the world. Despite the controversies, nothing seems to slow his growth. In 2022, he reaches 100 million subscribers and launches Feastables, his chocolate brand, which also becomes a success. The next big step comes in 2024, when he revisits an older idea, turning his large-scale challenges into a full-blown reality show. In March 2024, Jimmy announces a deal with Amazon Studios to produce Beast Games, a show that takes the Squid Game concept but scales it up with 1,000 contestants facing physical and mental challenges. The prize, $10 million, the biggest payout in TV history. However, in the middle of production, controversy explodes again, this time around Ava Chris Tyson. By this point, Jimmy's longtime friend Chris has progressed far in their transition and now identifies as Ava. For months, viewers had seen the changes gradually. It all seemed fine until scandal hits. Leaked messages between Ava and a Discord moderator named Lava GS appear online. Many see them as evidence of harassment, though Lava defends Ava, claiming they were just jokes. Things escalate when another moderator, Nathan Wayman, accuses Ava of manipulating him as a teenager and leaks hundreds of thousands of messages that suggest inappropriate interactions with minors. As more accusations emerge, Jimmy, who had publicly supported Ava, feels forced to distance himself to protect his brand. He says he's disgusted, removes Ava from the channel and the company, and hires an external team to investigate. Despite the damage from the scandal, the show goes on. Beast Games premieres in December 2024 with huge expectations. In terms of views, it does great, becoming Amazon's second most watched series of the year. But critics tear it apart. Many say Jimmy is too loud and superficial on screen, distracting from the contestants. They also point out that while Squid Game criticizes the exploitation of the poor, Beast Games seems to glorify this dynamic, even if unintentionally. The biggest scandal, however, comes from the way some contestants say they were treated during filming. In September, 5 participants sue MrBeast's production company and Amazon, accusing them of inhumane conditions. Reports describe exhausting shoots, extreme fatigue, dangerous challenges, and even hospitalizations. The public is shocked. The man known for his charity is now being accused of endangering people in the name of entertainment. So far, Jimmy has not given an official public statement about the lawsuit. In a behind-the-scenes video on Colin and Samir's channel, he denies the accusations. A representative says they contacted 97% of contestants to gather feedback and improve future productions. So, back to our main question. Is MrBeast's content poverty porn that profits from other people's misery? In one sense, yes. His content clearly turns need and desperation into entertainment. But unlike those who only exploit suffering, he also seems to genuinely impact lives. His model has found a way to make charity profitable and has shown that helping can be a sustainable business. That alone is a major achievement. Think about it. He takes money from big brands buying YouTube ads and channels it directly to the people who appear in his videos through huge prizes. At the same time, he gives viewers spectacular visuals and production quality that rivals or surpasses many traditional TV shows that spend much more and don't help anyone in the process. Plus, his projects create thousands of jobs and take philanthropy to a new scale, proving that you can make massive content without relying on negativity. It's also ironic that people criticize the creator for profiting while helping, but remain relatively quiet about industries that profit while harming. Tobacco, alcohol, and sugary drink companies literally damage people's health and make billions, yet we rarely see the same intensity of outrage directed at them. Well, now, from that perspective, it seems far more acceptable for someone to profit while helping people than for someone to profit while harming them. Now, regarding whether what MrBeast does is real charity, the answer, my friend, is complex. Yes, His company aims to generate profit like any business. It has to, in order to survive. But reducing his work to, he only does it for money, ignores something important. Money matters, sure, but what may matter even more is how your work impacts the world. In MrBeast's case, he has managed to create a positive impact at a scale very few people ever reach. At the end of the day, beyond money, what defines us is how we impact the world. And most of us do that through our work. Money is necessary. It lets us live, pay bills, and support our families. But if the only purpose of our work is to earn money, it may eventually feel empty. The deepest satisfaction often goes beyond salary. It comes from the meaning we find in what we do, the value we provide, and the impact we have on other people's lives. Not everyone can give away millions, but everyone can choose to work with the intention of creating something good. A chef can transform someone's day with a well-made meal. A teacher can inspire students with a lesson they never forget. An entrepreneur can build a business that solves a real problem and improves people's lives. In the end, what truly lasts is how we do our work and what we leave in others through it. Beyond working just to survive, it's about finding ways to contribute, to serve, and to leave a mark. In that sense, what MrBeast has done is not only finding a way to make charity profitable, it's also a reminder that work doesn't have to be just a source of income. It can be an opportunity to do good, to impact lives, and to build something that truly matters.